Hello everyone, my name is Christina. I'm currently in Ontario Tech University doing a PhD in nuclear engineering. Today I'm here to share with you some tips on grad school scholarships. So if you intend to go to graduate school, do you have to pay for everything? No. If you are a researcher, you don't have to pay to research. You have to be paid to research. So today I'm going to share some few tips on grad school scholarships, and I'll mention some few scholarships that will be working. You can explore, especially if you're a female. I'm not leaving out the guys. There are also many scholarships that you can explore. But generally, I'll talk about the tips to acing your scholarship applications. So I'd like to share my screen in a few moments. Okay, so as I said, I'm Christina, and today I'm collaborating with Dear Young Graduate to discuss on how to ace your graduate school graduate school scholarship applications. And I'm in Ontario Tech. I'm a Marie Curie Fellow, IAEA Marie Curie Fellowship recipient. So, what are graduate school scholarships and why are they important as a student? Why do you need a graduate school scholarship? So, they are educational research funding alternatives for grad students and sometimes may cover your tuition, living expenses, travel costs, conference participation, and if you have a dependent, sometimes your scholarship also supports you. And there are different types of grad school scholarships. We have the TA-ships, the graduate research assistantship. If you are in North America, you realize that most people who are on internal funding are on graduate school, graduate research assistantships and teaching assistantships. We also have some small bursaries that you can apply for. So if you are in school now and you are in need of some money, just go on your school website and check for bursaries. They have small bursaries, sometimes $1,000, $1,200, something to just help you with your rent or anything small. And so we have two types of scholarships. We have the internal scholarships, which are from the institution itself, and they are controlled. The funds are controlled by the institution or your university, and they are mostly tied to your admission, your program of study, and your academic performance. Sometimes we have some that are tied to your race and other parameters, but mostly internal scholarships are tied to your admission, your program of study, and your academic performance. So if you are on campus now, you can try to always make your school portal or your school website your friend. Be checking out what is available for you as a student because there are so many resources that are underutilized as students. So always check. Even if it's a $500 scholarship, you can apply for it. Sometimes you are going for a conference, you applied by yourself, your school doesn't know about it. Sometimes you can even get a travel funding from your school because it also projects the school in a way. So always make your school website your friend. We also have external sources, scholarships from external sources. We have the Schlumberger Scholarship for PhD and postdoctoral fellows. We have the Marie Curie Fellowship, IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency for scholarships for women. We have international peace scholarships for underrepresented women from countries that do not have money. We have Margaret McNamara, also mostly the same. We have African American women scholarships, which sometimes even sponsors institutions out of Africa. I mean, out of the US, even though you should be studying in the US. But if you check their websites, they can even sponsor you whilst you are studying in your home country. And these international scholarships or external scholarships are not always controlled by your institutions. Sometimes they collaborate with your institution to control the funding and how you are using it. But mostly they are controlled by the funding organization with minimal influence from your institution. And they're also highly competitive. They are highly competitive, and eligibility depends on the objectives of the scholarship. So today I'll be hammering more on the objectives of scholarship organizations. You always have to read the main objectives. If they are sponsoring women from underrepresented societies, you should know what is their end goal. Why are they sponsoring us? Remember, there's no free lunch anywhere. There's no free lunch. They might be giving you $50,000 to study and all that, but there's no free lunch. They have an objective for giving you that amount of money. So, how to ace your grad school scholarship. First, read about the scholarship extensively. Read about the objectives. Is it to promote STEM? Is it to promote a specific field of study? Is it to support a particular demographic? Read about it and look at why they are sponsoring such people. Do you have something to give back as a recipient? You should read carefully to understand the eligibility requirement. Make sure you list all your requirements, all the requirements that you meet, and list the requirements you lack. That does not nullify you from being a recipient. If you do not have a particular requirement, sometimes they'll ask you for a 3.0 GPA. If you do not have it, what can you provide? What gives you the competitive advantage over the person with almost 4 GPA? You should also personalize your essays to reflect the scholarship objectives. And your essays should address the sustainability of the funding objective. So if a scholarship organization is providing funding for a particular people, there are some scholarships that have been in existence for over 100 years, over 50 years. You should think about how they are able to sustain it and how, as a recipient, you are going to contribute to sustain that scholarship to go on. And as I said, remember, there's no free lunch. So how are you going to give back as a recipient? So I know most of you would like to know about the Marie Curie scholarship. Is mostly for females. When they started about maybe 4 years ago in 2020, yeah, around 2020, post-COVID. And they are sponsoring females in nuclear-related programs. But that does not nullify you from applying. Always do not exempt yourself even before they just apply. So it doesn't nullify you from applying. So they are sponsoring females. Before, they were sponsoring 100 females from all over the world. So they are not looking at Africans or Europeans or all over the world. And they were sponsoring 100 people. But this year, they decided to sponsor, so they moved it up to 150 students. And this year, they sponsored 250. So every day, there's an increment. It means that there's something that is pushing the scholarship to expand their support, right? So how are you as an applicant or as a recipient going to support these scholarships from one step to the other? So with Marie Curie scholarships, if you want to apply, they tell you should have a GPA of 3.0 out of 4. Not everybody I know that applied has that. Many people who got it have something to offer other than GPA. You should be in a nuclear-related field. So this is where your story comes in. You go and read about nuclear. What is nuclear doing? What is the IAEA doing? What is the IAEA's mandate? You should look at IAEA's objective because they are the ones sponsoring Marie Curie. And how can your program, if you are doing international relations, how can international relations support nuclear? Last year we had a conference and I saw people in human resource who were even Marie Curie fellows. So you don't necessarily need to be working with radiation or be a nuclear engineer to apply for Marie Curie. So your story counts a lot. How can you use your story to support the work of the IAEA or of the nuclear program? As an HR, what can you do? So you should craft your story to reflect the objectives of the scholarship. That's where most of us tend to fail or we tend to lack. And they also ask for 100 words essay. They have a lot of essays with questions. So they ask you a question and they tell you in 100 words, you should explain this. In 100 words, you should tell us how you can support this and that. So make sure that you are within the word limits. You keep your essays concise and you tailor your CV. So they don't ask you for a CV. You fill in your CV in their portal. So you tailor it to reflect what you are doing and how you can contribute to the IAEA's mandate and to the scholarship objective. And good references also count. Your references should understand the kind of scholarship that you're applying for, and they should address your performance and how it aligns with the IAEA's goals, International Atomic Energy Agency's goals. So with opportunities as a Marie Curie Fellow, you have opportunities to work with the IAEA as an intern and other IAEA collaborating centers. They give you up to 20,000 euros of living expenses and 20,000 towards your tuition. So in all, 40,000 euros. You'll be able to attend international conferences and trainings, which are also paid for. It doesn't come from your stipends. And your internships are also paid. You have opportunities for personalized mentorship. One thing about the nuclear field is that you have opportunity to meet so many people and get mentorship from them, especially the old folks in the IAEA or in the nuclear related field. They want people to replace them. They want people to learn from them. So they are open to mentorship. And your objective for taking a scholarship is not to take the money and just go away. You should take the money and contribute to the industry and also learn with all the opportunities that you get, learn to sustain yourself in that industry. As I said, they give you opportunity to work with them. They also offer job opportunities, and if you apply on their portal and you show that you're a Marie Curie Fellow, it gives you an upper hand. It doesn't necessarily give you an automatic employment, but it gives you an upper hand because they know that you understand the mandate of the IAEA or of the funding organization. And networking opportunities with your peers, people in that field that you are working in or you are studying for.
Okay, so I have a question.
Okay.
So with the Marie Curie Fellowship Scholarship, Is it that they have specific schools or universities that you have to apply to, or you can just apply to any university, provided that is maybe nuclear engineering related, then you will be funded?
So, first and foremost, Marie Curie has no boundaries. Any school, whether you are in UK, US, Ghana, Uganda, Somalia, anywhere, you can apply. And also, you don't need to be in nuclear engineering. Let me reiterate that. It should be in a nuclear related, or
Yeah.
your program of study should reflect a support for nuclear related programs. So as I
Mhm.
said, it can be in international relations, it can be in HR and
Yeah.
all that. They are training the next generation of pro-nuclear people to
Mhm.
support the nuclear industry. So with the nuclear industry, it's not only sustained by nuclear engineers, it's sustained by human resource, it's sustained by procurement, it's sustained by other scientists, biologists, nurses, doctors, everyone. So your
Mhm.
story should tell how you can support the
Mhm.
industry.
Okay. And with the stipends, right? I've seen on your slides that it's from up to 20,000 euros. Is it that it varies from country to country or
Um,
the Mhm.
so so for the stipend, living expenses, if you have 4 semesters, or if you
Mhm.
are doing a 2-year master's program, they give you 5,000 euros every semester until your
Okay.
final year in the 2 years. But
Okay.
if your tuition, assuming you are in Ghana, your tuition is about maybe 5,000 Ghana cedis per year,
Mhm. Mhm.
IAEA will pay based on your tuition, uh, the money on your invoice, the quotation
Mhm.
on your invoice. So that's why I said up to. So you can get as much as 40,000 euros. You can get as much as 30,000 or 20,000, depending on the level you are in in your years of study. You can apply anytime within the year of study once it's opened. So it has very limited boundaries.
Mhm. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there any other question? And the Marie Curie is for masters. Um, per our last meeting, they mentioned that they will be extending it to PhD. However, if you are living in North America and you are in the US, I don't know if you know that in the US you have a straight PhD program. So you should be able to demonstrate the part of your PhD program that covers a master's course outline, and you'll be able to get it. So it has very limited boundaries. You should be able to just explain yourself and your situation, and you can go through.
So there is a question in the chat box. The
Okay.
person wants an elaboration on what you mean by nuclear. Is it nuclear energy or nuclear?
Nuclear related. So
Nuclear.
um, nuclear related is what I'm trying to say is that whatever you are doing, your work should reflect pro-nuclear. Or if you are doing something on international relations, you can read, okay, what are some of the things that international relations supports with nuclear? So it shouldn't necessarily be about nuclear energy or nuclear medicine. You can be working around nuclear medicine. And nuclear is not just about energy or about bombs. We have nuclear
Yeah.
medicine, those who
Yeah.
learn about X-rays and all that. It's all under
Mhm.
nuclear. Radiation science. It's all under nuclear.
Okay. So it means that if you are in the medical field and you are doing radiography, you can.
Exactly. So many radiography students apply for Marie Curie and they get it. And Marie
Okay.
Curie herself was a radiographer also.
Yeah. Okay. I think I hope that you've been able to answer the person who asked the question.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so she said thank you, so I guess it has been elaborated well.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about the Schlumberger Scholarship. So with Schlumberger Scholarship, it's also for females and females doing PhD and postdoctoral programs outside of their home country. So they have a clause here. You should be doing it outside of your home country, but your undergraduate should have been in your home country. So with Schlumberger, their objective is to sponsor students, females who are scientists in the STEM related program. This one, it's no brainer. You have to be within the STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics related program, studying outside of your home country and has commitment to go back to support education in your home country. Either you are going back to lecture or you are going to support um, the industry that you studied in. So they require lots of essays, about 5 or 6 essays, and the least of their essays requires about 250 words, and the others about 1,000 words describing your research. So it's mostly research oriented. They want you to describe the research that you are doing. However, if you have applied to an institution, it was a general application and you don't know what your research scope or focus is, you don't need to write about your research, but your chances may be a bit slimmer than somebody who is already in the institution or who has a strong collaboration with their professors or their supervisors and have developed a strong research concept. Their the focus is mainly on your research tenacity, how strong you are in your research, its relevance to your home country. So your research should have some kind of local content. Either it's going to support something in your home country or within Africa. And your host institution supervisor and approval is very, very paramount. His approval and recommendation is very paramount. You need to notify your supervisor about this scholarship, explain to them that you're applying for it. Most people think that if I'm applying for a scholarship and my professor is already sponsoring me, if I get the scholarship, they will cut your funding. But remember, scholarships is not only about the money, but it's about the network. If you're able to get into a particular scholarship program and your school decides to cut your funding, it's okay. But it's it's better to be an SLB fellow than just an alumni who was taking small stipends from your professor. But if you have a good professor, they will not touch your money because it's already a contract they gave you. And you can also get an extra funding to support yourself. They know that grad students are not kids. They have other obligations, taking care of their families, their husbands, their wives, their kids, their parents. So they should be able to understand. So you should be able to communicate your research tenacity, its relevance to your home country or to your continent, and how your experiences have shaped your academic journey. So your experiences can be what you went through growing up and how you've been able to build some kind of strength that motivates you to move further in your academics or in your professional journey. Also, one of the caveats here, your past supervisor, if you can recall, I mentioned that you should have done your undergraduate in your home country. So your past supervisor from your undergraduate program is also required to demonstrate your local experience. And I know that this scholarship seem a bit cumbersome, but when I come to the money, you'll see that it's worth the stress. Yeah, so opportunities as an SLB fellow. As a PhD student or candidate, you can get up to $50,000 per year. And as a postdoctoral fellow, you can get up to $40,000 per year. They can also support your dependents, assuming you apply to the school and you went with your husband, and you have kids. They ask for a breakdown of your expenses and they can support them. There's also possible research guidance from subject matter experts because it's research oriented. So they expect you to keep them updated on your research, and then they can help you fulfill your research goals. There's also career guidance, and they ensure that you have established connection to employ you in your home country once you are done with the fellowship. I'm going to talk, do you have any questions about the Schlumberger Fellowship?
Yeah, I think that there are some questions in the comment section, sorry. Someone is asking, can you elaborate on the application timeline for the Marie Curie Fellowship
Yeah, so
scholarship? And
Marie Curie is usually open between mid-June and early September, but you should keep checking their, I'll share the slides with you and I put the links in it. You should keep checking the website to know the timelines. Schlumberger is also around the same time. No, I think from September to November. Yeah. So someone is asking, for these scholarships, must someone already be apply to a graduate program? Yeah, there are some scholarships that you should have been admitted to show your proof of admission. There are some that you should be able to show that you have intentions. So I think for Schlumberger and another scholarship, you should state your host institution. Sometimes you have applied, but you don't have the admission letter yet, but you have hopes of getting it. But it's better that for international scholarships, it's better you apply once you have the admission. Not international, external scholarships outside your institution. It's better you apply once you have your admission.
okay, so those of us on Facebook, we are live. So if you have any questions on Facebook too, you can drop it in the comment section and we'll read it for you. I think you can continue.
Okay, so we'll talk about the International Peace Scholarship, or the PEO. The link is up there. When I share the slides, you'll be able to open it. It's also for women studying in US or Canada and have commitment to go back to support their home country in any way they can. So with PEO, they expect you to go back to your country to support in any way they can. So when you are done with that scholarship, you have to go back and demonstrate that you are going to support. You can set up a foundation because it's for women and it's for peace. You can set up a foundation to support women. You can set up a foundation to support STEM education, not just for women. You can do so many things to demonstrate. It doesn't mean that you should. I know people come to study abroad and they would want to live here and work. I understand your concerns that you would want to stay back and work, but you should also know that these scholarships have their own goals, their own objectives. So try to fulfill them, try to be committed to fulfilling them before you come back And mind you, there are some people that they finish school and they try to go to another school and they are denied visas. That's because you went to school and you did not go back. You did not show any commitment to your home country and you decided to travel to another country. You are trying to use the country you went to as a pathway to migrate, which is not fair to other countries, right? So always, anytime you travel to study abroad, always try to go back home. Maybe once every 2 years or something. You might be thinking about flights and all that, but try to go back home to show an activity on your passport that, oh, I've been going home and I have commitments back in my home country. So your commitment to go back home and your personal statements should reflect your journey as a female and how you can give back to your community. So most scholarships require that you give back to your community. You should have good academic history, but there's no GPA requirements. So those who think that scholarships are all about GPA and GPA, there are so many scholarships, even better scholarships that do not have GPA requirements. If you do not, even with the ones with GPA requirements, if you have something to show that you have a competitive advantage like work experience, internship experience, volunteering, it's very important to state them. Something that tells your story of how you probably were not academically good, but you have a volunteering experience, you have the passion to study, you have the passion to help others reach their goals, and you have the passion to support your community. So don't let GPA be a setback. I'm a living example. Never let your GPA be a setback to scholarship opportunities. International Peace Scholarship, the grant is not so big, but they still require you to go back to your home country. But the most important thing is that they provide you with a community of relatable support system, people who understand your situation as a female going into academia or studying. And these support systems keep you accountable of your goals, and they help you get established connections that will employ you in an institution once you go back to your home country. And the grant is 12,500 USD. They also provide you with career guidance, how to work on your CV, how to be competitive in the job market. And that's even more than the money. Before we can talk about other scholarships, if you have any scholarship, any questions about what I have said so far, we can discuss.
Okay, Rhoda, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Okay. Thank you very
Okay.
much for sharing. Good evening. So I'm Rhoda, and I want to ask for a clarification on the going back to your country thing. Most scholarships require that you go back to your country and do something. But what if you've gotten an opportunity in another country? Can you do something? I want a clarification on that. Can you do something that shows that you are not in your country, but at least you are doing something? Or can you postpone that thing? Is it possible? That's my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question. It's very important to know that, as I said, the scholarships, they have an objective. So you should know their overall objective. What is their overall objective? Is it to support females? Is it to support STEM? What can you do remotely to support? At least you should give them an indication that you have gone to your country. Go to your country briefly and then set up something. Now with social media, creating a support is very easy. You can set up an NGO. I'm not sure that even Dear Young Graduates go out to do like big outreach, but they are reaching a lot of people with their social media stuff. So if the CEO of Dear Young Graduates probably had a scholarship that said that, or go and help Ghanaian students, or you should go back to your country to help Ghanaian students, she can visit Ghana at a point, and then with her platform, she can be projecting what the scholarship has been doing and also supporting other people in it. And that's enough to also demonstrate that, yes, I did what I was supposed to do. But once you are told to go back to your country, just go and find another pathway to take whichever opportunity that has come your way.
I think someone else raised hand. Please go ahead.
Mercy.
Mercy. Yeah.
Okay, done. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Mercy.
Thank you so much, Christina, for this informative session. Following up on Rhoda's question about going home, is there a particular timeline? Because sometimes you want to do something, but you also need time to develop that thing or create something that is meaningful, not just something to show these people that, yeah, I got your money and then I went home and I did this. We want something that is going to create everlasting impact on people in your community. So is there a particular timeline to do that? Thank you.
Usually, as many scholarships that I have seen, they ask you to go back within 6 months of your studies. So if you know that whatever that you would like to do is going to take a while, whilst you are studying, try to put down a blueprint, something that can help you kickstart your project after the scholarship. For many of the scholarships, if they ask you to go back within 6 months, it means they are giving you the opportunity to plan and then go back to do something. So, as I said, if you're applying for a scholarship, look at the main objective, look at your obligations, the terms and conditions of the scholarship, then try to plan something whilst you're applying. Just be thinking about what can I do, and within my timeline, how can I work concurrently to make sure that it doesn't disrupt anything within my personal timelines, so that by the time you be done, you'll be able to just do whatever you want to do outside of the scholarship.
So those of us on Facebook, we are not left behind. So if you have any questions on Facebook, kindly put it in the chat box and we'll read it out. For the meantime, I think Christina, you can go. Okay, Rhoda has a question. Rhoda's hand is up, so I think we can.
So if I'm getting you right, Christina, you are saying that you can start your project even before you are done with your scholarship,
Yes,
like
and
you are done with your program.
and sometimes
Okay.
they even give you extra support whilst you are doing it. For something like Marie
Oh,
Curie,
okay.
if I want to do something on education in nuclear, I can just write to IAEA a proposal that, I want to educate these high school people about nuclear because Ghana, they don't understand nuclear. And if we want to get the public support for nuclear, we need to educate people from the base, right? So can they support me with outreach program? I have some friends who would like to help me. Can they support us? And they are open to that. So if you take on initiatives to support the scholarship mandate, you may not even have to use your own money or your own resources to accomplish that. Sometimes they back you. Okay. Is there any other question? Is there
Yes,
any
you
more?
can go ahead.
Okay.
maybe later on the questions will trip in.
Okay, so there are many other scholarships like the Margaret McNamara Educational Fund. We have the African American Women University Women Fellowship for African Americans, Africans and Americans who are studying in the US and Canada, and sometimes even in your home country. They can support you. So every scholarship has some kind of loophole or some kind of allowance, and you should try to exploit that. If you are applying for a scholarship and they tell you should be studying in the US and without it you cannot get it, you can simply write to them. It doesn't hurt to write. And sometimes writing to them gives you some kind of recognition. They see your application. Oh, this person really needs the money and they are studying in another country. They are stressed and they are really willing to help support the mandate of our scholarship. So why not we expand our territories or our support to such a person? There are some scholarships that will tell you, oh, we support just master's students. But assuming you're a PhD student, you have a master's content in your PhD, you can simply write to them, oh, I'm in Canada, living expenses is so high, I'm not able to afford my rent, and I really need this scholarship, but my program of study is probably a PhD. Do you mind supporting me for the first 2 years? You can speak with whoever is your supervisor to write for you. Oh, my student is a PhD student, but she's taking some master's courses for the first 2 years, which would help her research, and I'm writing to support. So always build a good relationship with scholarship committee members, not to try to influence them to give you the scholarship, but it's nice to write to them. Learn how to write to them. Build good relationship with your supervisors, because they see your supervisor's recommendation weightier than somebody who is just somewhere and sits down to write anything for you. Once they see that, oh, I have supervised this person or I'm supervising this person, it tells them a lot that even though you might be on a funded program, your supervisor still thinks that you need more funding. And so you genuinely need it. So there are, okay.
Sorry, you can go ahead.
There are many other scholarships. As I said, we have funding, IEA funding for technical cooperation programs. Sometimes they have a platform where you can search for trainings and attend. We have the Korean government scholarships. We have the King's Global Scholarship, which is what I got for my master's. We have the Japanese government scholarship. We have the Ontario government scholarship. We have the Canada Vanier scholarship. There are a lot of them. You just need to know how to tell your story. Focus on the objective of the scholarship and how you can give back. That is what should influence your story. How can I give back to support the continuity of this scholarship scheme?
Okay, so someone is asking, I think Duncan, he is making a comment that he has not heard of scholarship for both genders since we started this conversation. So if you could elaborate on scholarships for both genders. I think the Korean government scholarships,
The King's Global Scholarship, Canada Vanier, Japanese government, Ontario government scholarship. So today my main objective was to tell you how you can tell your story to make your scholarship stand out by incorporating the objectives of the scholarship scheme. Assuming a scholarship is telling you, after that, go back to your home country, and you decide that, oh, when I'm done, I want to probably, assuming you are in China, oh, when I'm done, I want to go to Canada, or I want to go to US. And you state it in your scholarship that, oh, so after my program of study, I want to gain more international experience from countries like China, Korea, this, and you don't mention how you are going to support your home country. You don't state an intention to go back home to support. It's an outright failure in your application. So always focus on what they want from you after your scholarship and how you are going to support their objective, because there's no free lunch.
Yeah. And I also think that one thing I want to add is that there are lots of scholarships, both internal and external. So it's up to us for us to like search for the scholarships. And also that's why we have Dear Young Graduates, where we post scholarships and opportunities every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So in as much as Christina couldn't cover all of the scholarships that are like online, we can also try and also search for scholarships that suit us or that we are interested in. And as Christina said, there's no free lunch, so you have to incorporate what you give back to the community, to your community. So yeah, I think it's up to us to search for scholarships and also try doing some digging, because there are some scholarships that people don't really know. In fact, there are some scholarships that you said that I didn't even have not actually heard about it up till now that you said it. So it's up to us to do some digging about on the scholarships too. Yeah.
And also don't be targeting it's good to be competitive, but don't be targeting all the scholarships that are out there. There are some bigger funding that they don't even advertise unless you actually Google and then you see them. But things like Chevening is all over. Everybody knows about Chevening, and it is extremely competitive, but their money is small. But we have other scholarships that they are not even making noise. But once you Google, you go on their website, you'll be able to apply for them. And because few people are applying for it, the competition is a bit lower. And also, if you are writing your scholarship essays, let your story be your story. Don't just go into ChatGPT and then put in something and ChatGPT will generate something for you. I've read a lot of scholarship essays, and for the past 1 year since AI became a big deal, you read it and you see that this is AI. No matter how nice the English is, I will see it. This is AI. So try to make your story your story. And if they are giving scholarships to AI, they are better not they are better off not giving it out, because AI can write for you. They can tell you the best story that you can ever have, but let your story be your story. And people who have read scholarship essays and they read a lot know when AI is AI and when it is not. AI can support you, can give you the ideas, but try to keep it in your own words. Try to limit the big vocabularies to show that you understand English. Let your story be your story.
Yeah.
So I think we have exhausted everything. Oh, I probably must have said. So recap your personal story and how it resonates with the overall goals of the funding objectives. Read the terms and conditions. Are you supposed to go back home? Are you supposed to do an internship? Are you supposed to find a job? Are you supposed to go into faculty positions? Read the terms and conditions carefully. Write your essays in your own words as much as possible. Limit the use of AI, because scholarship reviewers know it when it's not in your tone and the tone is AI assisted. Make sure to use online resources on how to write good essays and craft it in your own words. And just keep applying. It just takes 1 yes. Just 1 yes opens the floodgates of opportunities. Keep applying and your essays will get better in time. Because when I look at my essays from 4 years back, 5 years back, I read it and I laugh. I'm like, what was I trying to write? Who was I trying to impress? So your essays get better with time. Try to read a lot and just know that today you applied and you did not get it does not mean that you are not good enough. Failure is only an opportunity towards perfection. So keep trying. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina.
You're
So the platform is open for questions. If you have any questions, kindly, you can either raise your hand so that we call you, or you can write it in the chat box. And those of us on Facebook too, we are live on Facebook, so you are not left out. You can write your questions in the comment section and I will read it. Checking Facebook at the same time on Zoom, so you are also not left behind. So if you have any questions, please, you are free to ask. Okay, so Christina, I have a question.
okay.
So with the Marie Curie, if you applied, let's say, you said it covers mostly the masters. So let's
Yeah.
say if I apply for the PhD and I apply for Marie Curie and I get it, how long will the fellowship cover my tuition and like sponsor me? How long will the fellowship sponsor me?
It supports you up to 4 semesters of your
Okay.
study.
Okay. So it means that if I'm doing PhD, it means it will support me for 2 years, and the remaining 2 years I have to maybe support myself or
Yes.
okay. Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? I guess okay, Rhoda. Rhoda, please, you can go ahead.
Okay. Please, my question is, so for instance, the Marie Curie that you are talking about, in case I'm doing my PhD and it supports me for the 4 semesters, does it mean that I can apply for other scholarships too? And
Yes.
it's okay to apply for others? Okay.
So one thing I forgot to mention, there are some scholarships that would ask you to declare your other scholarships, and they will also clearly state that we cannot support you if you have other sponsorships. There are others that will ask you to just declare your sources of fund, and they will not have any problem with you having other sources of funds for your schooling. There are others that will not ask you about your other sources of funds. So keep applying. It doesn't hurt to have so many scholarships. And there are some scholarships that once you get them, they expect you to stay committed to them. There are some that they will not support you when you have other scholarships, but once you get them, you can still apply to other scholarships. So always read the fine print, the terms and conditions, and then know what's best fits your preference.
I think that's a question. Okay, it's not a question. Thank you to Mercy for connecting. Christina, you can go ahead.
I think
Yeah, can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, so I recently spoke to a friend. He mentioned that he has a scholarship that he's doing here in Ghana, and that it's taking care of basically everything.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to go further with him for him to like have any other perception about me trying to find out a lot. And so I want to ask if you can, if you have any scholarships of that sort that you can just spell them out soon, so
Yeah,
I can
so
read about.
there are so many scholarships, and it doesn't
Yeah.
hurt to ask your friend what scholarship they have. You are not going to take their scholarship from them. So there are so many scholarships that will take care of everything, even in your home country. Whilst you are studying in your home country, they will take care of everything, including your family members. So something like the Schlumberger scholarship, even though you have to be studying abroad and all that, there are similar scholarships like that. I think Melinda Gates and Bill Gates, they have some scholarships of such, which will take care of everything in global health. So many scholarships. You just have to Google, and you should ask your friend, oh, how did you apply? Can you elaborate on it? Once the person has their scholarship, you can't do anything about it. Go and tell the scholarship scheme that they should take his scholarship away from him and all. No, you can't do anything about it. So you should be able to ask your friend, what scholarship do you have? I wish I had the opportunity. Can you help me navigate? When is it open? Like, just be sincere and genuine about it, and it's going to be okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. I think there are no questions on Facebook and here on Zoom too. I'll just give us like 2 to 3 minutes, and if there are no questions, we'll wrap up. So, Christina, I want to just throw a non-related, it's related to this, to scholarships, but it's just a bit more personal question. How did you get to know of the Marie Curie scholarship, and how did you transition from your master's to PhD and everything? And how has it been so far?
So I like to read a lot. I'm just an opportunity finder. So if I'm sitting there and I know my money is getting finished, I just go, okay, now I'm studying. My money is
Yeah.
almost finished. What can I do? Okay, scholarships for women, scholarships for nuclear, scholarship for science, scholarship for this. I just Google and I make sure I spend more time looking for opportunities than even spending time to. I'm not saying I don't study. I do study a lot, but what would be the essence of studying if you do not have the support, if you are always stressing about money? So I go out there, list a number of scholarships that I think I'm eligible for. The ones that I'm not eligible for, I find a way to be eligible for it by highlighting my skills. I might not have the complete GPA for it, but highlighting my skills, writing a good essay, reaching out to them, telling them a good story about myself and how I really need that opportunity and how I can also support their mandate. So try to highlight your strength than focusing on your weakness that, oh, I don't qualify for this and I'm not going to apply. Anytime my friends tell me, oh, I checked and I'm not eligible, I get mad because nobody is completely eligible for everything. Whatever you do, there will come a point where you lack some kind of skill or eligibility towards an opportunity. But you should find a way to highlight what you can even give better than what you are lacking. So that's what I mostly do. I always try to Google. Google is your friend. And even if that scholarship is over or the deadline has passed, I just list it down. Okay, next year I'm going to target the scholarship. Things like McNamara, PEU, and all that, I had seen them a year before, and the deadlines were passed. But I listed them there, and immediately it was time. I started my McNamara application on the day it was opened. So always keep an eye on opportunities and never let money or finances stress you whilst you are studying. It's the least thing that should stress you. And people are out there trying to support those who want to study, you with money, with opportunities, with jobs, with internships, anything to help your study go smoothly and to help you get to know people within your industry. It's not about the academic prowess. You are doing the best research, but you don't know anybody. So who knows you? Networking is very important. Okay.
Oh, thank you. So, from what you are saying, I decided to summarize it. So, first of all, you should be inquisitive, be curious, look for knowledge, look for don't let a day go by without searching for knowledge. And because you want to apply for scholarships, you have to search for scholarships that are available. And also, one thing I noticed that I know that opportunities don't come but once, but for me, I think that most of the times opportunities comes but once, and you have to grab them when it comes. And also try to highlight on your strength and that other than your weakness. Don't put yourself down. Don't think that you can't do it, and plan ahead of time. One thing I took from what you said is to plan ahead of time. Even if the scholarship is the deadline has elapsed, there is next year, so you have to plan ahead of time. And also, whilst you are studying, that's why it's important not to let your finances be a problem to you whilst you're studying. So that's why scholarships are very, very important. And yeah, I think network too, as you go to school, as you get your scholarship, or even I'm sure that some of us that are connected, we are still in our bachelor's year, and we are planning on doing scholarships. So as we are in our bachelor's year, we should try and network and also do internships in industries that we are learning in. So yeah, I think that's one thing that I took from it. And I hope that we also took some notes.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
started applying for scholarships right after high school. Even though
Wow, high school.
even though I knew that I did not qualify for them, but it was a
Yeah.
learning process. It was a learning experience. That's why it comes easily to know that, oh, this scholarship, I've seen it before. This school, I know about it. This school,
Yeah.
they require this. So just keep practicing. It doesn't hurt to try. Let them read your essay and laugh. But it gets better. It gets better. So always keep applying. Nothing
Yeah.
should stop you. Keep applying. It just takes
Yeah.
years, and then the floodgate of opportunities just opens.
Yeah. So don't also let rejections put you down. Don't let rejections make you feel or think that you are not qualified enough. It's just that there are other people that maybe they met their criteria as at that time. So you just come back stronger, bounce back stronger, and apply with good or better application.
Yeah.
And one thing is that when you write your statement of purpose, you should seek people who are already in the PhD, who are already in the PhD field or in your field that are already there to help you review your essays, other than using, as you said, do not use ChatGPT. Just write your own story, tell your own story. So yeah, and it's also keep getting better, as you said. It gets better as you keep applying.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, scholarships are not for superhumans. It's for people like you and I. Take that opportunity. You've been paying taxes. Your parents have been paying taxes. You deserve all that money. That money belongs to you. Please collect it with your full chest. Yeah. And when you lack an eligibility for a scholarship or even for normal graduate school applications, when you lack a certain eligibility, or we need programming skills, we need this, we need that, and you probably missed the deadline or you applied anyway and you failed, Then next time, make sure that within that 1 year or those few months, you build that kind of eligibility, and it should be demonstrable. You should be able to demonstrate it. That's why mostly it's opened every year, so that you come back stronger.
Yeah. So it's personal development. Every single day, make it a point to develop yourself towards that goal that you want to achieve or that scholarship that you want to apply to. So don't let a day go by without developing on maybe certain skills, certain soft skills that you have, or that you think that would be that will give you a competitive edge for that scholarship. So keep learning, keep developing on yourself. Yeah. So do we have other questions? Christina, can you give us your final words?
Okay, I think I've spoken a lot. Have every scholarship that is available within your field, and you should just keep applying and keep getting better. No scholarship recipient is a superhuman. Everybody deserves to be supported, and don't let finances stress you. If you are an undergrad, start your application processes. If you're in your final year, start looking at schools, start thinking of how you are going to move to your next stage. If it's a job, start connecting with people in the industry. If it's a school you are looking for, start connecting with people who are there and can help you navigate the system better. So you got this, yo. You got it.
Okay, so thank you very much, Christina, for this wonderful session. Apart from it being a scholarship session, I think that it's more of a motivation session for some of us too, that we should just start whatever that you want to do, you have to just start. And on this note, I want to end this session, but before we go, someone was asking what is the name of our YouTube channel. So our YouTube channel is Dear Young Graduates. So we are Dear Young Graduates on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So, and even on LinkedIn. So if we usually post our scholarship application or scholarship opportunities on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So you can check out our social media platforms. And also, if you've not really followed us on these platforms, kindly do follow us, because if you are not following us, how would you get to know these opportunities? So kindly follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We are Dear Young Graduates on all these platforms.